Hey everyone, welcome to Ludicrous Feed Live this Thursday, the 3rd of August 2023. Thanks so much for joining us today. If you're listening to us on audio podcast, hello and welcome. If you are watching us live, hello indeed, and make sure you leave a comment to tell us where you're watching from. And if you're watching us on replay, hello as well. Make sure you drop a comment as always. Well, lovely to see so many people on the stream already, and yeah, it's very great to see on a Thursday night. So let's welcome our regular guest, as always, Mr. Riz Akhtar from Carloop. Riz, how are you this beautiful Thursday?
Yeah, going well, Tom. It feels like I'm in Sydney. It's sort of that warm here this evening, and some may say global warming, but we just take it for spring.
Yeah, well, it's good to see Melbourne's getting some warm weather. We certainly have been getting that in Sydney as well. So yeah, very good. How are you? You going well?
Yeah, going well. So much happening. I think in this
Oh,
electric vehicle space, you just literally every morning you get up and it's something new and exciting. Then how you going, Tom?
yeah, good, Riz. Like, as you said, like there's so much happening. Every week I think, is that going to be enough to talk about? But yeah, every Thursday I'm pleasantly surprised. There's just so much happening, which I'm very thankful for in this very exciting electric vehicle space. Rahul, our other regular guest, sends his apologies. He's spending some time with the family overseas at the moment, so we wish him all the best and enjoying a great time, escaping the Australian southern winter. So yeah, hopefully he's having a good time there. He'll be joining us in a couple of weeks' time, of course, as always. Let's say hello to some of our regular listeners and viewers. So we've got Gaffer on the stream. Hi, Gaffer. Great to see you as always. And Kenny says, evening, everyone. Best night of the week. Yeah, Thursday night. I agree. I love being here with you, Riz and Rahul, as usual, and everyone watching as well. We've got Scotty, windy Melbourne. Okay. Is it windy down there, Riz?
It's supposed to be blowing a gale, but I'm inside so far and it seems all right.
Protected. Hi to everyone. I can see a few other viewers here as well, regulars. I can see you got to see Richard. Yep, Richard, Oz Screamer. We've got Chris, Jerry Can, Louise, Manya, Addo3 owners. Oh, g'day. And we've got Charles as always. Hey, Charles, nice to see you. He says, evening, Tom, Riz, and everyone. Nice to see you too, Charles. Riz, so we've got some VFAX figures today for the cars that were sold in Australia for the month of July 2023. Let's kick off our stream with this little beauty here from your good self on the Driven and Charles.
Yeah, so it's July data is out 7%. I think we sort of know by now what drives what lever is pulled every month to get it above 7%, and it's generally how many cars can Tesla put on a ship and deliver to us. Model Y was up there. I think they sold 3,330 of them in the month. Followed by BYD Atto 3, and it still sold over 1,000. Model 3 had a very, I guess, subdued month with 604 sales. I don't think this has much to do with demand. I just think it's supply. They're not really able to supply as many cars at the moment. Interestingly enough, the lead times haven't increased either, so who knows? But yeah, we know that they're working on upgrading Model 3 production lines in Shanghai. Elon said that in the call that this quarter they'll be doing a whole lot of facility and factory upgrades. So that could be part of the reason. But Model Y sales are not slowing down.
Yeah, I mean, 7% is obviously less than last month. 8.8 were reported. And I think Tesla Model Y was the best-selling car last month, if I'm not wrong. So
Yes.
this month it's a fourth selling. So yeah, it slipped down the charts a little bit. Also, second last month to fourth this month.
Yeah, and I guess the first two are, commercial vehicles. And if that's the case, then the only passenger car that did better was the MGZS,
Yeah.
which is a cheap and cheerful car compared to in its ICE form anyway. It's
Mm.
cheap and cheerful compared to Model Y, which is at least twice as expensive, if not more expensive, than the most standard MGZS vehicles. So not far behind, and did better
Also,
than the RAV4. So
oh, good. We should clarify to the MG ZS, you've got figures here for both ICE and electric, but you did write here that around 10% is likely to be electric. So that's a problem with some of these sort of cars that have got both electric and the ICE variant. Like I think the Volvo C40, they can't be differentiated as well. You managed to get the figures there this month for Volvo.
Yeah, the particularly there's MGZSs and even the Kia e-Niro comes in under Niro, and Niro had 200 and something sales, and EVs were about 72 of them. It's a funny time because Hyundai is not its sister company with its sister car, the Hyundai Kona. Hyundai is not really delivering a lot. I think they delivered 50 odd cars last month. And Kona is supposed to be a very popular sort of it's an SUV. It's in its electric format, so the e-Niro is filling the gap for the time being.
I'm encouraged to see BYD Atto 3 holding strong there at second, cementing its place as the market silver medalist behind Tesla. So that's good. That's good. The CEO of EV Direct, Luke Todd, is going good with his promises that it'll be competing with Tesla.
Yeah, I think that, I think it's second or maybe third month now where it's done better than the Model 3. But, I think moving forward would be interesting if they've caught up with a lot of the orders that were built up for that car. And if there's a lot more stock, what happens? To move it, you either have to reduce prices or to have some attractive deals to make it happen. We know there's lots all around Australia at the moment, different, car parks full of Atto 3s, which is a good problem to have for most EV buyers and enthusiasts, because we know at least you're not waiting months to get an EV. It's available, but whether they can move them would be interesting to see.
Yeah, that's right. And obviously you mentioned that Tesla Model 3 numbers are down. I obviously wonder whether that's because of the Highland rumors are quite strong, which we'll touch on very shortly. But yeah, it'd be great to see once the Highland is officially released, then those numbers will probably go up again, I imagine.
Yeah, given the price cuts that Tesla's had earlier in July as well, Model 3 is the cheapest that any Tesla has ever been now, starting at 57,400 before on-road costs across the country. And yeah, I think we won't see the effects of that until probably we have more supply.
Yeah, and I do get a lot of referrals. So thank you everyone for using my referral link over the past months. And I must say, anecdotally, the majority of them are Tesla Model Y referrals rather than Tesla Model 3. So even my small subset is reflecting this as well. Let's say hello to a few more guests on the stream. We've got people from Adelaide, from Perth, from out of Melbourne, Canberra, warm in Adelaide, sunny Sydney, Stowell in Victoria. There you go. And we've got Kevin, good old Kevin from Lakeland, Florida, joining us. Hey, Kevin, nice to see you as always. Yeah. And yes, people are pointing out that inventory numbers are strong, I guess. Riz, you're probably more across that than I am about inventory numbers.
Yeah, Tesla inventory Model 3 is reasonable, but I can't, it's hard to sort of understand. Demand can't really fall off the cliff for that sort of a car because there's so many leasing companies and everyone that is trying to promote the Tesla brand now. Previously they didn't used to, but now it's so attractive to get a car on a lease, particularly electric vehicle. I can't see how Tesla's not moving those cars. So be interesting to see what sort of August and September looks like. But yeah, keeping an eye on the inventory. I think even today there were about 60 odd cars Australia wide for Tesla, its Model 3 and Ys, but most of them were sort of long range and performance vehicles.
Yep. Yeah, keep an eye on those inventory. And actually, a viewer told me that those figures the prices do go up and down as the day moves. So they're dynamic with their pricing. So yeah, keep refreshing those numbers. So you might snag yourself a good deal there. Let's take some comments. So Oscream is saying plenty of Hyundai Kia ads during the Women's World Cup. Hope it means we're getting all here, hopefully too. Gaff is saying once they improve the Atto 3 range by that first bump, it holds its own for the price point. Yep, let's hope as well. And Charles is saying, crazy to see that even cars in the EV top 10 are only selling sub 75 vehicles per month. Yep, that's true. So very small for now. Yep. And he says too, Highland will be suppressing Model 3. That's what we kind of touched on. I expect a spike after that. Absolutely. Yes. So good question from any usernames left test. Speaking of referral, can I use a code when we do our novated lease? Good question, actually. I don't see why not. You probably have to speak with your employer or your leasing company, but I don't see why you couldn't, honestly. So yeah, let us know if you can. And yes, good point from Maya. Model Y coming under the rebate in New South Wales is going to hurt Model 3 sales. That's very true, indeed. Well, speaking of Highland, Riz, let's put on this tweet here from who is it?
Wuva.
Wuva, yeah, Wuva.
Yeah.
Is saying that. Let's see. Sorry, I'm not in my usual room today, so I've got to sort of play with my mouse a little bit. According to online rumors, communication from suspected Tesla staff indicates that the current domestically produced Tesla Model 3 will be discontinued on August 14. It is reported that the new Tesla Model 3 will be officially put into production in the third quarter. August 14, that's 2 weeks away, less than 2 weeks away. Wow, okay. I mean, how reliable is this source here is?
Wuva is pretty reliable when it comes to drone footage around Shanghai, and he's got a pretty good idea. Obviously, what he'll probably see on Chinese social media is, if he thinks that they're sort of employees, then he's putting his credibility on the line to talk about it. So I'm assuming it's probably right. So 2 weeks. Elon did say that there's going to be upgrades to factories, and they have to get it done this quarter. That's what the investors have been told anyway. So we're sort of 2 weeks time, we'll be halfway through the quarter. So it should be interesting. I still don't know where they're going to unveil it, if they are, or are we just all being pranked?
Or they'll just snap it like one day on Friday, right? Like tomorrow maybe, or the day after, or the week after. Like, yeah, look, new Model 3.
Website changes.
Yeah, exactly. That's all we've got. So yeah, I'm curious to find out actually. Good question here from Helpful Hints. Hey Tom, how's your LFP battery degradation going in your new Model Y rear-wheel drive versus your NMC in Model 3? Well, it's only been 4 months, so I can't tell you just yet. But from the quick checks I've done in my Model 3, which has also got LFP, degradation's been like almost nothing. So that lithium ion is just sort of gradually stabilizing itself. So I will make a video probably at the 6-month mark just to keep everyone informed. Yes, 2 weeks. And Greg Wilson, hi Greg, nice to see you. The 2021 refresh was just online.
Yes.
Okay. Nice. Okay. And yes, Peter says, isn't 2 weeks Elon's joke, of course. Definitely. Yeah, cool. Now I think there was some more news on the Highland too, Riz. Let me just check the chat here we've got going. Oh yes, here we go. So sorry everyone, I will put this up real shortly. Okay, so this is some more spotting, some more spying you found, Riz.
Yeah, so there's a gentleman in California who happens to be a photographer and an electric vehicle fan. He captured some really high definition photos of the Model 3, and what it appears to have is a front-facing camera on the front bumper. This could be part of the hardware for autopilot suite, or it could be just, the photo playing tricks on people, but it looks like something is there. Cybertruck also has a front-facing camera. So, Cybertruck is a larger vehicle. So, yeah, be interesting to see whether this is actually true or not. Spotted in Palo Alto, near Tesla's Fremont factory. This vehicle in itself has been seen a couple of times around. It's got the standard 18-inch wheels without the aero caps and the Michelin Pilot Sport 4 tires, which is pretty standard on these cars. Extremely tinted out. Like this is like next level darkest illegal tint, I would call it. Because Tesla's trying to protect and hide something. And interior obviously is pretty big. So it'd be interesting to see what it comes out as. More sightings.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, as we keep saying, it's not confirmed. We're just basing it off pictures people send on Twitter. Yeah, but since 2019 now, there's been no sort of major refresh. So this could be it in 2023, 4 years later. Very curious. And it looks like if it is true, Shanghai is doing it, then we'll be one of the first countries to get it, given all our cars come from Shanghai. So exciting times ahead. Yes, so stay tuned, everyone. Keep watching our streams, and you will find out more about Model 3 refresh. This is where you hear it first on Ludicrous Feed Live. What else have we got here? So, yes, we should share this one. So this is from our good friend Nash, who we will try to get back on the stream. I think he's back from the US. We'll get him back and get him tell us some cool stuff that he saw in the US. But he's saying that he's just retweeting Tesla Chan, saying that Model 3 delivery schedule in Europe is quite late. And this is how you say Highland without saying it's actually Highland. So what do we got? This is all in German, right? So yeah, that's quite late, isn't it? November 2023 to Jan 2024 for the performance, and then sort of October to November for rear-wheel drive and long range. Interesting, very interesting.
I'd be very curious to see how the specs change, because if the new model is supposed to have some changes in its specs, new battery, more range, whatever the rumors have been over the last couple of months, then those specs will be very interesting. I wonder if it's like that people that purchased Model 3 and Y in different parts of the world, and they were not going to get the ultrasonic sensors, and they basically have to accept something within the app before taking delivery to say your car is a little bit different to what you ordered. So that would be quite interesting to observe as well in the coming months if the delivery times are extended out. Performance next year. That's 6-7 months away.
Yeah. What's Australia? Like, we're much quicker, aren't we?
At the moment, I checked today, but then again, tomorrow's Friday. That's when things change. So, but I checked today, and it still sort of said July till September for all variants.
There you go. So there could be something in that. So thank you, Nash, for retweeting that. Actually, I wanted to, before we move on to some other news, Riz, I forgot to talk about your chart. So Riz's charts are back, everyone. New South Wales Tesla uptake growth in 2023. Take us through it.
So about, what is it, about 1,500? Yeah, around 1,500 new Teslas were added to the overall fleet, now sitting at 23,000. If we look back to, December last year was at 13,000. So 10,000 new Teslas added to the New South Wales fleet alone in the last 7 months or so. Hopefully we will see that sort of get to over 35,000 before the end of this year, and that's just Teslas alone. So good to see.
Yeah, and look, Gaffer's very happy. Yay for Riz Akhtar's charts. Yeah, I agree. We love Riz's charts. Thanks, Riz.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, but that's good to see that trend, going up for New South Wales. Hopefully that's reflective across the other states too. And Greg says we need to overlay DC charger deployments. Yeah, that'd be a very interesting chart too, actually. Yeah, very interesting.
I actually do have one, so maybe for next week.
Oh, stay tuned, everyone. I love this. The intrigue, the mystery. Some more comments. Here we go. So helpful hints. Oh, ventilated seats will be epic in hot countries like ours. 100%, especially if getting black seats. Yeah, I agree. It can get a little bit stuffy with the black seats in summer. Although we haven't had a decently hot summer in a few years, so this will be a hot summer apparently. We shall see what it's like. Yep. And David says, Novate, at least you can use a referral code. Hallelujah. Thank you, David, for confirming that. Appreciate it. Gaffer says Teslas are everywhere. It's amazing. They are true. It's true, Gaffer. Like, they are everywhere. Depends on what part of Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, and the other capital cities you go to, but certainly some areas are like, you just can't look anywhere on the road without seeing a Tesla. That's so true.
It's a new Camry.
It's a new Camry, indeed. And that's a good thing. Camry is a good value, really. Apart from the fact they're petrol. But, Peter says Pheasant's Nest northbound looked almost finished Friday. Oh, good. That's an important stop, actually, regardless of what you drive. So good to see. Thanks, Peter, for keeping an eye out for us on that. Let's talk about this interesting story. Speaking of petrol vehicles and petrol OEMs, so Mazda in reverse gear as it discontinues EVs in favor of hybrids. Interesting times for Mazda. So this is the EX30, I believe, which is the
Yeah.
only all-electric or battery electric vehicle that Mazda has produced so far.
Yeah, it's very sort of, Mazda's been known for making niche cars in the past. Um, Unlike, well, basically most manufacturers out of Japan, EVs aren't something that they've really focused on, even though there was some of them were the first manufacturers. We look at the Mitsubishi Maev, the intelligent electric vehicle. We look at the Leaf. But since then, they haven't done too much more. And it looks the same as in this with this MX-30 as well. It's not something that's sold. It's too expensive. Range is basically non-existent. And in the US, they've decided to discontinue it because nobody wants to buy it. And Mazda's a much bigger brand in Australia than they are in the US. And that's not in terms of the number of sales. It's mainly in terms of brand recognition. So traditionally, it's been in the top 3 or top 4 for whatever reason. So it's been Toyota, Ford, and Mazda sort of dominating sales in Australia. But in the US, it's like right down the charts. So over there, they're not seeing any value in it, and they just want to sell more petrol guzzling SUVs there. And they haven't got any other EV product pipelines. So probably won't be long before they discontinue it in Australia as well.
Yeah. Do you have any idea of how many Mazda MX-30s have been sold in Australia for stock?
No, I think they're sort of confused with they have a hybrid version as well, I believe. And once again, the sales sort of get muddled up, and it's not a big enough brand to really knock on Mazda's door and say, how many electric ones did you sell? There'll be not too many, if any.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, what's interesting is that just looking at the specs here, so 35.5 kilowatt hour battery, that alone is very small. 148 kilometer range. So even then, the efficiency is not great. So honestly, I don't see who would buy this vehicle, even for a runabout for like a town car. It's just not enough, really. You do probably get too much anxiety having 148 Ks. And then if you have only 80% usable, that's like 110. Put the air conditioning on, it's like 100. And suddenly you're like in like, oof, that kind of worrying territory. And then $34,000, that's 50 grand here in Australia. That's a lot of money for that kind of range.
I think it's close to 70 here.
Oh, yeah. That's like Model Y territory.
Model Y or this?
I know what I'd prefer. But as you said, Riz, Mazdas sell well. Like we've owned 3 Mazdas in my lifetime, that I paid money for in the past. So they're good value otherwise. So that's a shame. So,
well, one thing your Model Y doesn't do, Tom, that the Mazda does is go zoom, zoom. And you won't get that out of a Tesla. So for that, pay 70 grand and get a 35 kilowatt hour battery.
That's right. You got to whisper it. Zoom, zoom. Oh, we shouldn't advertise. No, we're not getting a cent. Sorry, no more. Okay. Let's take some more comments here. Yes, Senzub is saying, and you can actually get a Tesla within a year, unlike a Camry. Yeah, there you go. Probably Camry hybrid too. Kenny's saying, I was having a debate with a mate of mine about color choices, and he thinks better to go for the multi-coat options. Do you think Tesla will ever make all choices multi-coat? Just a random thought. Okay. You like as in like multi-coat red, multi-coat white. Yeah, maybe. I think Elon's always saying paint's expensive, so yeah. Well, probably not.
The only option they've recently added is that the red and the silver, the Quicksilver and cherry red in Germany. And that's supposed to be, I think, 7+ layers. I guess the reality is, given the number of white Teslas we see on the road, are people really willing to pay that sort of money? Even the red multi-coat, I think the last data set I looked at, 6 to 7% of all cars were red. So people just don't pay that money that's needed, even though they're gorgeous colors.
Oh yeah, and the resale too. Obviously, the white is just going to resell better. Good value. House has heaps of BYD Atto 3s on the Central Coast. By the way, why did they shutter BYD Castle Hill? Well, there's one in Hornsby now, so maybe that's why they shuttered Castle Hill. Hornsby's not too far from Castle Hill, so interesting. Okay, and Gaffer, good question for us, Riz. Are you going to check out Pheasant's Nest? It's a great look at what we can expect from forecourt charging. Well, stay tuned, Gaffer and everyone else, because not this weekend, but next weekend, Riz and I might have something special for you guys lined up. So stay tuned. That's right. So keep watching. Japan's Peter's saying Japan once again proving it's stuck in the year 2000 in terms of EVs anyway, which it has been ever since 1985. Okay, thanks for the commentary. All right, so let's move on to the next article, Riz. Another sighting of the GWM Lightning Cat. Here we go.
Yeah, this is I don't know if GWM really understands what they want to name their cars anymore, because the Aura, the GWM Aura, the hatchback, used to be the Funky Cat. This was the Lightning Cat, and there's also a Beetle lookalike in China called the Ballet Cat. So this one is the Lightning Cat as per the Chinese name. We don't know what they want to call it. I think they want to call it GWM Sport or something. Anyway, Aura Sport. So that's been spotted by a gentleman on one of the Tesla groups on Facebook. And yeah, looks pretty cool. I've actually seen one of these in person before, a couple of months ago at GWM head office. You know, I had my runners on and I thought I'll sneak into the back and have a look. And they had a pink one in left-hand drive.
Okay.
So this, I think, is a right-hand drive car. The difference between New South Wales and Victoria's amazing registration system is that even if you do a rego check for that, it doesn't show you anything. It says, sorry, invalid rego. Whereas in New South Wales, it actually says this is an evaluation car, or it's there for testing, like we saw with the Skoda, and I think Tom would previously seen with that white MG. So yeah, it's been spotted, but I don't think it would be under $55,000. It's a cross between a Porsche and a Bentley and many other cars in one. And if that's what a poor man's Porsche is, then that's what it would be.
Herbie EV edition, Sandeep is saying. So I kind of agree, actually. Kind of looks very Beetle-like from the front and probably from the back too. Yeah, the back's interesting. I mean, what can I say? Yeah, it's kind of Porsche-like, the 911-ish without the wing. Aerodynamic, I suppose, with that sort of fastback look. How big is this car, do you reckon? I'm just seeing like a Holden. Is that a Holden Ute in front of it?
Yeah, I wonder if I included this. Maybe I included the length there somewhere. Maybe not. Yeah, probably not. It's I think it would be longer than the Model 3.
Okay. Maybe the seal-ish?
Yeah, seal sort of length. So 4.8 meters, maybe.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, look, it's good. If they're testing here, that's great. Definitely would love to check these out. So yeah, cool. So Peter's got more news about the Pheasant's Nest northbound and southbound are almost a mirror image setup. That's good. 6 stalls with 9 plugs. That's great. Big new service center with half a dozen food options. That's fantastic. We have to check this out, Riz.
Yeah, for sure.
Sounds fantastic. Oh, Billy Lit. It's harsh. That fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down. Poor old Aura. Poor old Aura Lightning. Here we go. Robski. This is a question for everyone, by the way. So question is, hello, gents and ladies too in the chat. My 6.5-year-old wants to know which vehicle you'd buy. Tesla Model 3, Model Y, BYD Atto 3, or MG4. Don't need much space. Tough question. I suppose it depends on your budget, right? And whether you need that room, because the Model Y is quite a big car. So if you don't need the space and if budget constraints are an issue, then yeah, I'd probably look at the Atto 3, even the Model 3. Don't know the MG4 yet. I haven't seen that too close up yet, so we'll let you know in a couple of weeks. But good question, though, Robski, and everyone feel free to chime in and give your thoughts. That's great. All right, let's move on, Riz, to the next story. So keep your questions and comments coming, everyone. This is fantastic. So this is BYD again. Put it on for you. So BYD thanks Brave early EV adopters after celebrating first year in New Zealand. So congratulations to BYD New Zealand for achieving 1 year over there.
Yeah, so they've come out and sort of thanked all of their early adopters for putting an order on one, and a lot of them are quite happy with it. Some have done tens of thousands of kilometers, and when BYD New Zealand did put that post out, but they also sent an email to customers and those interested to tell them that, it's been 1 year and these are all the things we've achieved. They've achieved some pretty cool things, and I try and list them as per their email. They've opened multiple sort of showrooms. They've opened some panel shops to do the repairs. They've even helped out in flood impacted parts of New Zealand using the vehicle to load feature, and won multiple awards for the product that they brought into the country. And they've sold relatively well given sort of the size of the New Zealand fleet. They've sold nearly 3,600 cars so far, and that's quite a bit of an achievement there as well. And yeah, quite quickly, like Australia, climbed up to sort of becoming the third best-selling car, but best-selling electric car anyway.
Yeah, congratulations everyone in New Zealand making this achievement. It's fantastic. So 7 awards, 4 to 12 showrooms, pretty good. More to open soon. Yeah, as you said, helping out with the flood-affected areas. So they've done good things there. So well done. Yeah, it looks like they're really looking after their customers and acknowledging that the customers are part of the journey to making this brand successful over there. So it's good to see. And you can register your interest in New Zealand for the Atto 3, Dolphin, and the Seal as well. So yeah. Any more news on when the Seal's coming, Riz? Have we heard anything on the pipeline in Australia?
Nothing so much about Australia, apart from the fact that we've seen a couple around that we've sort of covered on the live stream previously as well. But I think maybe we'll know more before the end of next month as to what they want to do, because if they want to deliver cars to Australia before the end of this year, they need orders. And if they haven't opened orders like they have in New Zealand, then that's going to be a bit tough to get some of those cars out. So they have to let people know. So I'd say before the end of next month, which is the end of the quarter, we should know what is happening, and sort of the pricing should be out, along with what the specs of the car will look like for the Australian market.
Yeah, I saw a post on LinkedIn today from MG saying that it's passed its ANCAP testing. I think it's got its 5 stars, MG4.
Oh.
So, if MG can get its ducks in a row, then hopefully BYD can do the same for the Dolphin and the Seal ultimately as well. So we'll keep everyone posted shortly. Question from Jerry Can: are we likely to see EV wagons in Australia? Yeah, or the shooting brake, as we like to call it here. Yes, there is an MG5. I don't think it's on the horizon here in Australia, unfortunately. Gaffer with the question for Robski: if you can push the budget, go the Tesla. I have a soft spot for the Atto 3, but I think when more MG4s are available, it'll do well. Yep. Good answer. Interesting point from Brand. BYD sales reps are aggressive in their sales approach, whereas my experience with Tesla was completely opposite. I got my Model 3 on Tuesday. See, that's interesting, isn't it, Risk? I mean, BYD showrooms they're not really dealerships. They're kind of like reps, like Tesla reps too, where they're just sort of educational almost. So that's a curious comment.
Maybe things are slightly different now that they do have more stock, and it's no longer such a, I guess they do need to sell the cars, otherwise it's costing them money for keeping them on their lots and paying someone else's sort of big interest rate on those vehicles that are sitting in the lot versus selling it to someone. So maybe things are changing. But Tesla's approach, I mean, I know internally that Tesla's also has sales quotas now for their sales staff. I don't think it's probably live just yet in Australia, but if I go and do a test drive with a Tesla, previously you would just not hear anything. But last 12 to 18 months, I've heard plenty of times, hey, you put in a trade-in offer for your Tesla. Would you like to get one? We've got one in stock. Get it before Highland because the prices are going to go up. I mean, every excuse, and I get a call from them every second week. So it's a bit of an interesting one. And I think the rest of the market, not just Tesla and BYD, will be more pushier than what you would find those two brands at this stage. But
interesting, isn't it?
Model 3.
Yeah, congrats, Brand. Yeah, look, listeners, viewers, go do some market research for us. Go and be covert and be potential customers for us in these showrooms and tell us what you think on these streams. This is what we want to hear. So thanks for that comment though too, Brent. Appreciate that. Okay, good question from HSV me. Hi gents, what's the situation with Australian laws and automated driving? Will they prevent FSD beta if Tesla officially release it here? Yes, that's something we might need to do more research on, actually. Good question though.
I think we'll send a delegate over, Nash. He's back now, so he'll come back to us with, and he experienced FSD. He knows what. So we want to know from the main man's mouth as to what needs to change. Because I've also heard he's advising Albo at the same time on what needs to change from an FSD point of view. So we'll find out.
He's a busy man, Nash. We'll get him on the stream definitely sometime in the near future. Gaffer saying I need to launch a new segment, Cooking with Ludicrous Feed. Yeah, hopefully you all watch my fried rice video. Obviously, the ulterior motive is to show people that induction cooking is possible with Asian, recipes and cuisine. So hear a bit of commentary that woks cannot be used on induction stove. So absolute rubbish. So go watch that video if you're not convinced yet. So Peter Cook saying Australian law treats ADAS or advanced driving systems like it treats cruise control. Use it, don't use it, but the driver is still responsible for whatever the car does. Yep. Certainly New South Wales, whatever automated system you use, you must have the hands on the wheel if you read the laws in our state. So yeah, good discussion going on there. Great, good to see. Oh, look, another comment here, Manya. Yeah, the BYD girl at Westfield was very pushy. Oh, interesting. Getting a few comments here about that. There you go. Maybe the tide is turning. Oscreamer says, "Ludicrous feed me." Hey, nice. I'll use that maybe. Good comment from Greg. I think BYD would have made a lot more sales if they had played it safe with the Atto 3 interior. Should have made it black and removed all the strings. Oh, come on, the guitar strings. That's it's like signature move. But I think the seal Riz is probably more understated, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to be maybe a grown-up version of what the Atto 3 is. I think it's different markets once again. Seal's more, sedans are generally more driver orientated, more sporty, that sort of thing. And whereas I think what they were trying to do with Atto 3, I mean, to be honest, look at the publicity that it's generated, whether it's functional, practical, looks all right or not. But yeah, even the build your dream badge in the back, which the Seal U, which is a bigger version of the Atto 3, is not going to have that on the back, and I don't think it has guitar strings either.
Yep. Oh, we've got Jason from Tech AU. Hello there, Jason. Nice to see you there. And he responds to the FSD beta question. No, there are no regulations to get beta here, as the system still requires driver supervision for now. In the future, they will need to get approval if they go level 4 or 5. Yep, good point. So level 3 might be all right, as Tech AU says. So nice of you to comment there. I can definitely answer this one. To all the Tesla owners, can you explain if the heated seats in the rear are a monthly subscription option? Definitely not. It's included with the car. I can tell you that. Both Model Y and Model 3 rear-wheel drive that we've got this year are included. So it's not a BMW, I think, or was it some other brand that needed a subscription? Not for Tesla. Yep. So we've got Charles acknowledging that too. Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the next article there. Riz, Honda to launch new electric SUV in the UK at the same price as Model Y. How exciting. We've got a Japanese brand embracing electric cars.
This is big. This is like the bigger brother of Honda E that never made it to most markets. And yeah, it's priced at 44,000 pounds, which is the same price as what Tesla Model Y rear-wheel drive goes for in the UK market.
Interesting.
We also have to understand the UK has the VAT, which is a lot higher as a tax compared to Australia. But at the same time, it's interesting. Honda's launching a car there in a right-hand drive market in Europe, which there aren't many of. And at that price point, and it's only got, I think, 400 odd kilometers of range. Funny thing is, if you sort of scroll down and have a look, they'd say engine in their configurator, which I've tried to point out in that. So the engine is electric, and with the 68.8 kilowatt hour motor, battery pack, and I think 100 and something kilowatt, 150 kilowatt motor. It's not very it's like an Atto 3, I guess, but more expensive.
Yeah,
And
look, we'll just say it's lost in translation there for the engine. But yeah, 70 kilowatt hours, 412, so not as efficient as Y, but not too bad actually. 10 to 80%. That could be faster, that charging speed. Hey, 78 kilowatts.
Atto 3 is quicker.
Yeah, that is quicker, and again, that's a bit slow on the highway, I must say. So interesting. It's shorter than the Model Y. Okay, but what's the price? You said 87, didn't you? 87.
Yeah,
Sorry,
so
44. Yeah.
probably 70 grand here, maybe.
70 grand. So Model Y kind of very similar in price. There's the interior there.
It does have a huge screen in the middle, though, like sort of like
Yeah.
the old model SNX portrait
Yep.
screens.
Still a few buttons there below in the console area.
Mm.
Still got the center screen there. Interesting. Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, expected to go on sale in October in the UK. Interesting. I mean, prior to this Ni 1, the only electric car from Honda was that cute little Honda E, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. So hopefully this comes to Australia. Doesn't look too bad either for an SUV. Yeah, nice. Okay, let's put this one up here. Yeah, so this one caught my interest this week. So this is Sawyer saying, breaking: Tesla has completed its planned $76 million takeover of German wireless electric vehicle charging technology company Wiferion. According to the website, the company now operates as Tesla Engineering Germany. Interesting. Picture of a potential wireless charging pad there, which I think was from the Investor Day, I think.
Yeah, it was. They showed that on a slide where they said in under the charging section that we'll continue to do cool SH dash dash on and that's the people were sort of wondering, well, that's pretty cool because that doesn't look like a Gen 3 wall connector, and it looks like there was a pad underneath a multi-code deep red Model S plaid.
Beautiful. Yeah. What do you think about this, Riz? I mean, wireless charging is not as fast as plug-in for any device. Would you consider having this in your home? Is it convenient enough?
I guess it depends on what are the key innovations that Tesla brings to this space, particularly when you are thinking, like, I don't know, even in the Teslas where you've got the wireless charging pad for your phone. I rarely use it, but that's just me. What we know, wired stuff is more reliable in certain cases. For EVs, if Tesla can, pair it and make it as easy as Apple AirPods pair to their devices and that sort of thing, then yeah, great. But also it depends on the cost because, Gen 3 wall connector, $750, and it takes 3 seconds to plug in and 3 seconds to plug out.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. As Greg just said, not that hard to plug in. I probably wouldn't have this in my home. For all those reasons you've mentioned, there is. It might. I'm just trying to think where this might be useful, like in a public car park space.
We've seen this before in the UK. They were doing a trial for one of those taxi ranks where they had these taxis driving over. So in those sort of, I guess, scenarios, it's pretty cool if you can make it happen. But look, knowing Tesla, there's a lot we don't know, and it could be for other vehicles. It could be for robo-taxis. If robo-taxis are driving around, who knows?
Yep. Yeah, good points here from Billy Lid. No tripping hazard. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, good for like bus stops. Yeah, that's true. Every stop has one. That's also a good point, Gaffer. Now, people like Rahul with no off-street parking. On the street in front of his house, you could park there. No tripping hazard. So I could see some benefits here. But Nick, it's true, Nick. You still pay for the power lost and inefficiency. That goes with most things, I guess. Interesting. Yeah, well, anyway, more options there. Point about rain and all that, for inductive charging. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, because if it's covered rather than plugging in. Although most cables are, what's a what's it? Is it
IP
IP?
something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
IPv6 or something. So they're usually insulated anyway. All right, let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. So this is from Rahul, our man in Indonesia. So he's in Bali at the moment, as per his tweet, and he's seen a few of these cute little things. Perfect for dense traffic and tailpipe congestion. Affordable, quiet, and clean. Wuling Air EV. There you go. That's the Wuling, a Chinese EV right there.
Now, remember we touched on this a couple of weeks ago, the MG Comet. I think it's the same car.
Ah.
I think it's the same car, or must be very similar, because they are produced as MG Comet things in India.
Yep.
And I think as Wuling Air. I mean, it's probably as light as air, but they're pretty cool. I mean, who says EVs are expensive? And in developing countries, and even for inner cities in Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Perth, you could be driving, for those flexi cars where you can rent them by the hour, have a zone where they can drive around in. I think these are great. So good pickup, Rahul.
Yeah, thanks, Rahul. Still working for us, even on holiday. What a legend. But I think I'd rather be in this than a tuk-tuk in Southeast Asia. So it's light as air, but still you got solid walls on either side around you.
Now, is yellow a pretty popular color there? Because it looks like that scooter in the background and the car must be the trendy thing.
Must be, with the warm weather. Who knows? Now, this from Elon Musk, the man himself. Of course, the other man himself, Nash. Can't get away from Nash. There he is. But Elon's saying something special coming soon. Now, this was posted on July 30th, which was about 4 days ago. And tomorrow is Friday, Riz. We know stuff happens on Friday in Tesla world. What's going to happen tomorrow?
Well, wonder if we find out whether, whether it's this Project Harlan thing, whether it's Cybertruck deliveries starting soon, whether it's a Cybertruck wrapped as a Chevy Silverado. You don't know if any of those things can happen.
Maybe Highland gets announced tomorrow.
Or it's already happened.
Oh.
Which is, maybe this wasn't, given the amount of hats Elon wears, maybe it's the fact that our Twitter apps no longer say Twitter and they say X.
Ah, correct.
I don't know.
Correct. That could be it, actually. Yes, I've noticed that, just a complete transformation. I saw the little bird the other day looking at something, so there's still remnants every now and then of the old platform. Interesting. Okay, so let's put this one up again. Tesla related, and it is the 5th version 4 Tesla Supercharger launched again in France. France seems to be getting the lion's share of these version 4 Superchargers.
I think it's a deal that Elon did with Macron and said we will get as many, we'll deploy as many in France as possible if you don't get the Gigafactory. So 20 of them, that looks pretty cool.
It's amazing. Absolutely stunning. And it's undercover, and there's it's well ventilated, and there's 20. I'm so jealous. I really am. Yep. One day,
What do you think about that signage that they've got for electric cars? The green bit, that's an EV bay, and they seem pretty wide.
Yes. Yeah, as in like the design of it?
Yeah, the design, because we've usually either they're fully painted, like we've got some here, or BP just does the middle section of the parking bay. So here you've got pedestrian walkways. You have the green, I guess, showcasing that EV charging. It doesn't say Tesla only from what I can see. So these could be open to non-Teslas as well. But yeah, good concept in terms of you don't have to have the whole bay painted for people to know that it's an EV charging bay. And
maybe my thinking is maybe because in Europe there's so many EVs now, it's kind of like becoming people know about EVs, so it's like, okay, it's an EV bay, right? I don't have to ice it. Whereas in Australia, we still have to make it very clear it's EV. It still gets ice sometimes, but maybe it's just the trend there. Yeah, less paint.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, it's quite obvious it's a EV spot. There's a big store there, but clearly some people are still driving blind. Interesting. Oh, Gaffer's saying yes, the V4 have a small screen and what looks like a reader. Okay, just not active right now on any, it would seem. Can we spot that any of these? Can you recently have a look?
Not on this one, but in some of the other ones that have been shared in the past. In Austria, they've seen the card reader as well as the little screen. I guess this would be the standardized design now, where all V4 chargers will have that.
Yeah, nice. I like it. I like the shape of it. It's very sleek. Cool. And also just back on V4 again. So this is Electric saying that Tesla finally confirms Supercharger V4 has 350 kilowatt output. Okay. Even though none of the cars can charge that, or none of the production cars yet can charge it for beyond 250. So I guess they're preparing for the future. Or other cars that can use the Tesla Supercharger network now that can charge at 350. So maybe that's what they're doing. Cool. Okay. Good pickup. Right. I think that might be it, Riz. I'm just trying to look at our chat here. I think we might have covered most things. Is there anything else that we've missed?
I think we've covered most of the major updates in the last week or so. There's been less Cybertruck stuff out. I guess they're becoming part of the normal fleet. No further updates when it comes to the delivery time frame or the delivery event. And we're expected to hear something about the second Gigafactory announcement in the next couple of months, but it's looking more and more likely to be India after the Indian officials, according to recent reports, turned BYD away and said, take your $1 billion and go back. And apparently they're not interested in investment like that, where Tesla, they seem more keen. So we might hear something about that very shortly.
Yeah, maybe that's a special announcement. We shall see. And we've got a few minutes left, guys and girls. So just, actually leave your comments and questions. Oh, good. Charles has just reminded me. Yes, the second Ballarat supercharging site. So let me try and find this because Charles did tag us, Riz.
Oh,
yes. Thank you, Charles, for that. Let me find your tweet here. Sorry, your X'd.
Your X.
Here we go. I found it. So yes, thank you, Charles. So for those of you in Victoria or drive regularly through regional Victoria, this is in Lucas, Victoria, under construction with 10 stalls. There you go. Ballarat's not that far from Melbourne, right? A few hours drive?
Yeah, it's not too far at all. That's pretty cool. Good pickup, Charles. This
thank you.
Seems to be more. The last one I checked out was close to where I am. Was in Dandenong at the shopping center there, 6 stalls. And I went to have a look at all the gear, and everything sort of said made in USA, New York, Buffalo, New York.
Buffalo.
So all the hardware is still coming from there. It's not coming from Shanghai as such. So yeah, 10 stalls. That would be one of the larger sites.
Now these couple of X's seem to imply that there's already one in Ballarat. So this is the second one. Ballarat is one of the biggest cities in regional Australia, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely in regional Victoria, it's one of the more popular and well-known ones. Ballarat, Bendigo, Echuca, obviously on the border as well, and some of those towns. But it's good to see that regional Victoria is finally starting to get, more and more of these superchargers there. And we know what happens when DC chargers go in places. And if they're putting 10 there, the likelihood that, these will also potentially be open to non-Teslas in the coming months. I think Tesla's gearing up to make that happen pretty quickly now with some of their larger sites.
Now, I'm curious about this, Riz, because, Ballarat, okay, it's a big town, but I would have thought they'd be more inclined to install chargers in Wodonga, given that it's on the Hume Freeway and it's a major thoroughfare between Sydney and Melbourne, whereas Wodonga's only got 6 stalls, version 2s. So I'm hoping Wodonga's on the map to get more soon.
They
nice.
are starting to do some upgrades for some chargers from V2 to V3 superchargers. I guess a lot of it is to do with the supply as well that they can get. Sometimes they offset it with the battery packs. But I think in some of the newer sites, and I think a lot of the regional councils and the electricity utility providers are also catching on to say this is here to stay, and we have to allow for these things to happen now. Otherwise, people would bypass these towns and go elsewhere where there is charging infrastructure.
Yeah, good point. Now, Peter's just, this is just I can see some conversation around putting a EV fire out, and Peter's saying, first law of thermodynamics is energy can't be created or destroyed, just change from one form to another. Okay. Yeah, it's pun intended, it is a hot topic, EV fires at the moment. Even though they are rarer than ice fires, they do take longer to put out. So, yeah, that's something we should probably touch on again with Emma from FireSafe. So thank you for bringing that up, guys. Question from Jamie. I bought my Model Y Performance in March 2023, thinking of trading it in for Model Y Hardware 4, as I have a 5K discount from Plaid, fail, and can transfer the FSD. So we're talking about Juniper here. Yes. Oh, that was because the Model S Plaid, right? Or the Model X Plaid.
Oh, maybe the Plaids had more. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I think it's a good idea, but I don't think we'll get the upgraded Model Y before the 3, which is a bit of a bummer. You'd like to think it happens at the same time. And the FSD transfer stuff, I guess that's Q3 only. So we've got, what is it, less than 9 weeks left.
Yeah. Interesting. Jerry Can, is the version 4 350 kilowatt for when the Cybertruck arrives? Yeah, could be. Although apparently it can go up to megawatt charging from the last time we heard about that.
That's going to be interesting because they're putting all of these in Europe so far. And as far as we know, they've got enough orders in the US and Canada to build them for a long, long time before they make it to Europe. So, yeah, could potentially be for Cybertruck or future-proofing it.
Good question, though. And yes, so, this is Greg's town, Ballarat. So Greg's going to go check it out for us tomorrow. Thanks, Greg.
Awesome.
Let us know. Gaffer's saying there's some fights back in the UK for EV FUD. Good to see. And yeah, Charles is also saying, good point, strange that it wouldn't be in Beaufort, Ararat, or somewhere like that, apart from Ballarat having a second one.
I don't think there is any rationale that most of us can think of. Tesla usually does their own way. There's apparently 4 stalled supercharger site going in the middle of Brighton, one of the most affluent suburbs. I guess apartment living or something. But it's very interesting. Nobody would have ever thought that they'd put a charger or a site in Brighton, of all people, where Shane Warne used to live. So yeah, Tesla just does what they do.
That's right. Question here from Crazed Snail. Hi guys, hope you're well. I took the plunge and ordered Model 3. Congratulations. I'm just curious, should I purchase a Type 2 cable since I'm planning on road tripping a bit? I think that's one of the best accessories you could buy personally. And by the way, EVSE, just quick plug here, my code TeslaTom5, that code is now back because it wasn't working for a while, but now that code is back. You can get a discount now with their Type 2 cables. So just a quick note for anyone looking for that. evse.com.au. So yes, Charles is saying other people have suggested Ballarat might only be 9 stalls, not 10. So yes, thank you, Greg. We will await further news from Greg. Peter says Holbrook is not far from Wodonga. Okay, thank you, Peter. Charles is saying Benalla is getting a 20 stall. Albury will be getting a 15 stall, Gundagai an extra 12. Yes, that's true. They're all coming from the New South Wales grant. Good point. And yes, Gaffer agrees. Good to have your Type 2 cable. Anything about the Fisker Ocean being an affordable long-range EV coming soon? Do we have that this week, Riz, in the chat? Let me see.
Oh, we might have. It's
Oh yes, we did. I missed it. Here we go. Pop it on. So yeah, this is Jack Scarlett from Fully Charged talking about that. The Fisker Ocean SUV, longest range of any electric SUV, smaller carbon footprint than any of its rivals. Some seriously funky features.
It is pretty unique, this car. I think they're going to have the same challenge scaling production, but it's very cool.
It is cool. Solar panels on the top there too. Nice. There's Jack talking away at it. Good. Yeah, nice. Oh, look at that. Interior's looking pretty cool too. Nice. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Thanks for bringing that up too. Appreciate that. Any more comments, guys and girls? Thank you. So much to talk about, isn't there? Question for you, Riz. Louise asks, will your Cybertruck be left-hand drive? Yes, the one that you ordered.
Well, we don't know yet. It could be anything. I'm hoping that Nash has bought a special sort of information package for me from the US that says it is going to be right-hand drive, but the likelihood of that happening, you never know. More than likely, I'll lose my $100 deposit. That's what's going to happen.
Now, Riz, if you need someone to come with you to the US to pick it up, okay?
Look,
I'll come with you.
And other people.
Good fun. All right, Riz, I think that might be it for today. That's the hour up. So, yeah. Thanks so much, everyone, for watching us live. I saw 160 odd viewers at one stage, so thank you. And if you're watching on replay, thanks for watching us this far. And yeah, thanks for listening to us on audio podcast as well. So thanks, everyone. And I'll just put up this slide for Saturday in 2 days' time, 8 a.m. Riz and I will be back to talk more about EVs and renewable energy, particularly from, I guess, an overseas point of view too, not just Australia. So tune in. At 8 a.m. on Saturday, 5th of August, AEST, and there's some other times for around the world as well if you're watching from overseas. Riz, thank you as always.
Thanks, Tom. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. It's good, lots of discussion and lots of cool things happening in EVs and charging space.
Yeah, 100%. So much to talk about. As I said, every week there's always something. We're never short of anything to say about EVs. So very exciting times. Very, very fortunate to be living through this change in our fleet. Thanks, Riz. Thanks, everyone. We shall see you on Saturday and next Thursday as well. Bye for now.